everybody? So we've got a fun review today as we're discussing Red, White, and Royal Blue. Now you can imagine, because I cover a fair amount of LGBT content on the channel, whether it's Heartstopper or Love Victor before it ended, I actually have been recommended many a times to read the book this film is based upon. Unfortunately, I never got around to reading the book, but I was still very excited to talk about the film when it released because the premise of it all sounded very intriguing to me. When the son of the American president and Britain's prince public feud threatens to drive a wedge in the relations between Britain and the US, the two of them are forced into a staged truce that sparks something much deeper. Usually I am a sucker for a good romantic comedy. There haven't been as many in recent years that I've enjoyed wholeheartedly, especially when it comes to LGBT leads. You very rarely see a romantic comedy with an LGBT lead. I can't think of too many off the top of my head. The only ones that come to mind for me are Bros and Happiest Season. But as someone that went into this having not read the book, so I have no attachment to the source material, I was very impressed with Red, White, and Royal Blue because I think it's a rare example of a mature, intimate LGBT romance that manages to be equally charming as it is emotional. Perfectly utilizing the archetype of the enemies to lovers format, there's so much fun witnessing Prince Henry and Alex Claremont Diaz forced to be around one another in a multitude of escalating scenarios and the playful comedic jabs that each take, given the fact that each of them come from very different backgrounds, one being a prince and the other one being the son of an American president. You can imagine the fun banter between them as they roast one another. I think one of the funniest aspects to that is when they roast one another in the beginning of the movie. The first couple times they meet, they don't necessarily get along, and there are some physical comedy moments along the way too, like when that giant cake falls on them, or just fun comedic back and forth, like a running joke that Henry apparently puts platforms in his shoes, because there's no way he's actually 6'2". Even though I didn't read the book this is based upon, I am well aware that the book has a very large following, and ever since they announced the casting of these two actors as Prince Henry and Alex, there have been a lot of rumblings online, a lot of different discussions on if they're going to bring these characters to life respectfully, because as someone that reads a lot of comic books and all that stuff, it really can make or break your adaptation if your two leads aren't good. And I was nervous going into this because I have seen these two in other projects. Very vividly do I remember Taylor Zachar Perez in the Kissing Booth sequels, and Nicholas Galitzine. Ironically, I remember him as the prince in the Camila Cabello Cinderella movie. I guess there's just a market for him being a prince in a lot of projects, which are, all of those projects are not particularly great, but I have to say, I was a big fan of them in these roles. I think they have excellent chemistry and bring these characters to life. Right from the very beginning, you buy into the connection the two have with one another, and as they spend more and more time together, and if they aren't together, they're emailing each other back and forth, you start to see them open up more and witness this exploration of their feelings blossom. Over time, drawing you deeper into seeing the romantic connection unfold with every adorable romantic encounter they have, or even some of the steamier sequences when they sneak away to do stuff. This film is rated R. I don't know if a lot of people know that or not, but since it is rated R, they aren't afraid to showcase Henry and Alex getting hot and bothered. There's quite a lot of steamy sequences between the two of them over the course of the 2-hour runtime. It isn't overly insane, but it is a bit spicier than your average romantic comedy in the lovemaking department. Outside of the romantic elements for Red, White, and Royal Blue, I quite like the journey that we go on with Alex and Prince Henry as characters. Each of them have pretty great arcs in my opinion. Each of them showing immense growth that partly is tied to their budding relationship. You have Alex forced to grow up a bit while campaigning for his mother's re-election, and you have Henry struggling with maintaining this public image and upholding traditions, which does complicate his feelings about going public with a relationship, and it does pack on the emotions very effectively as the film progresses. A lot of the strengths of the story do revolve around the budding relationship between Alex and Henry. When the story focuses on other things, like Alex getting on the campaign trail to try and help his mom get reelected as president, or the stuff revolving around a reporter that Alex has a kind of past relationship with, none of that stuff really appealed to me all that much, especially the reelection, the Uma Thurman's character. It was nice seeing Uma Thurman back in a film. I can't remember the last time I saw her in anything. I love Uma Thurman. She was one of my favorite actresses growing up. I particularly am not a big fan of the Southern accent she puts on in this. It isn't something that took away a lot of enjoyment from my viewing experience, but it very much sounded like somebody just making a generic Southern accent. I didn't believe that she was actually from Texas. Speaking more on the supporting cast, for all my Love Victor fans out there, you can imagine my excitement seeing Rachel Hilson, Mia from Love Victor, also being in this movie, pretty much filling the kind of similar role that she kind of had in Love Victor for a time period as the supportive friend to Alex when he does reveal to her that he has this crush crush on Prince Henry. You know, if I had a nickel for every time Rachel Hilson played the supportive best friend to the gay lead, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it actually happened twice. Red, White, and Royal Blue is directed by a first-time director, and I like the way that he chose to frame some of these sequences. One of my personal favorites is the way that he frames Alex and Henry having these conversations through email, and the way they display these messages and intersplice the 2 of the characters like they're in the same room together. For me, it added a lot more fun and intimacy to these sequences that otherwise probably wouldn't have that because they're on opposite sides of the pond. For as many sequences that I did enjoy, there are some other ones that did kind of stick out to me, just weird editing choices or intersplicing of different scenes. One in particular, I thought it was kind of odd, the editing choices for one lovemaking scene in particular, where the 2 of them are making out and it's cut between Henry playing in this polo game. Just very weird decisions like that I feel like a more seasoned director wouldn't put in the film, but it still didn't detract from my experience all that much. With how delightfully charming Red, White, and Royal Blue is, I hope this allows more ideas like this to come to fruition. Seeing these movies or shows, these LGBT-led romances get more of a spotlight, because we are seeing a shift in recent years with shows like Love, Victor or Heartstopper being critically praised and audiences loving them. I hope that continues to be the case when more of you guys check out this film on Amazon, because I think overall it's a well-rounded romantic comedy that conveys this LGBT romance with a lot of love, care, and heart. So make sure you share your thoughts down below once you get a chance to check out Red, White, and Royal Blue. Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? If you're someone that has read the novel this is based upon, I'd also love to know your thoughts down below on how different it was, and if you're a big fan of that book, how do you feel about it coming to life with this Amazon film? Anyways, thank you guys as always for videos. I always do appreciate it. Make sure you like on the video and also subscribe to the channel so they reviews, reactions, unboxings, and more. Next time, I'll see you guys later.